Hi, welcome back to Forgotten Legends of Sound. We are going to do another album review, but we have a kind of a cool treat for all of you and a treat for us, honestly, is we've got Jake back again to do another video. For those of you who saw the Third Eye Blind video. And then we also have, Brandon here. Now, we've actually mentioned Brandon before in some of our previous videos, like,
call-outs.
little call outs, shout outs, and so let's, before we kind of jump into the Sonata Arctica Reckoning Night album, which we are going to review and everything, we kind of wanted to take this time a little bit for you, Brandon, to share a little bit of like your music history, as well as like maybe like your favorite genre or just, wherever it leads. Yeah.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm Brandon. I grew up listening to like my parents' music. Some of my favorites were like Journey, Boston, Chicago, Air Supply, things like that, kind of mellow kind of stuff. Then Kevin and Ian here started introducing me to some really cool stuff, some harder rock stuff, some like Led Zeppelin, some, I don't know, just lots of good stuff. And then they started introducing me to some metal, and like the first time, like I heard Sonata Arctica, man, like that was some really cool stuff. It just kind of something in me just like started burning. It's like, wow, this is really cool stuff. I'm excited to do this album here with you guys. I don't know, just music really kind of changed my life a little bit, and just
and you've been kind of like jumping a lot more into like more genres, more bands, especially in the past like say 1 to 2 years and everything. So that's been pretty cool. You know?
And like growing up, kind of my experience has been like greatest hits and stuff, and kind of stuck in a small little niche. I had like a little bit of rock, a little bit of metal, a little bit like some jazz and other stuff, some classical. But now like I've been branching out a lot more, feeling that itch. It's like I need to experience more of this,
And we actually played in jazz band together, like back in school, so that was pretty dope.
Like jazz band, symphonic band,
Awesome, yeah. So I guess before was there anything else you wanted to add, or you're pretty much set?
I think that covered it for me.
You're ready to rock and roll.
That's the basics. Like,
well, then we're gonna share a little bit of like what this album means to all of us and everything. We're gonna start with Ian and just kind of go down the line, and then we will rate each song between a 1 and a 10, and then just listen to it and have a good time.
10.
Yeah, this album is really special. This is the first album that me and Kevin got into. It was like the end of 2004, and we had heard Sonata Arctica before, like around like the early 2000s. We were checking into a lot of metal stuff, like melodic death metal and then power metal. But power metal, we didn't even call it power metal at the time. That was a genre we weren't even familiar with. So that was something that was very new. In the US, it wasn't very popular, so you couldn't really just find it in a store.
Not anywhere.
So we got this album, and then straight away we just ordered their first 3 albums, like just right from the eBay or whatever. There's like an auction that had like, I think they were separate auctions, but it was from the same person, just send all these albums over. So that was kind of like, once those came in, those first 4 Sonata Arctica albums were just like life-changing to me and Kevin. And me and Kevin, the only real metal that we grew up prior to like, when we were in like freshman high school or whatever, like prior to melodic death metal or power metal, the only metal band we listened to was Metallica. And we loved those first like 4 or 5 Metallica albums as kids growing up. But once we heard Sonata Arctica, for me, it blew my world, just hearing all the guitar and keyboard solos going back to back. That was a concept I had never heard in any kind of genre of music, And also a lot of Sonata Arctica's storytelling ability was something that stood out with them. The vocals were soaring, like the melodies were just perfect. And I love this album. It's definitely in my top 5 albums. I don't know if it's my number 1. It could be, depending on the day. I feel like that changes, between a couple albums. But it's definitely up there. I think this album's a masterpiece. So I'm excited to go through it. What about you, Jake? What are your kind of thoughts on this?
That's an interesting. So that was your first album. For me, like, I guess there was a gap because like I was listening to other stuff, and you guys had this, but the first one I was introduced to was Ecliptica. So like that was the first album I got. It was the first one that I really kind of delved into and really dug in. And so this album specifically, like it would be a while of listening to Sonata before it started to change, because it was like first it was like Ecliptica Silence, and then it kind of was like Winterheart's Guild, and back and forth Ecliptica and Winterhearts, and then it came to Reckoning Night. And so it's like it was a slow burn, and it built up over time. Like, but it does have like you're saying, strong storytelling, great, music and lyrics. Like Ecliptica's fast, and they were like hard early on. But then it was like there was nuance, there was flavor, there was, complexity. That's kind of coming out as they're going on and developing their character as a band. And so this is definitely, I think, one of the highlights. There's good stuff, they've produced good stuff since then, but this is probably one of the best, yeah.
Yeah. And we have done like Unia before and everything. And like we all love Unia, but honestly, yeah, for me, this is probably my favorite Sonata Arctic album. And yeah, probably my favorite album of all time, followed by probably Symphony X's 5, the New Mythology Suite, is number 2, And so this album's always going to be special for me. I fell in love with a lot of the lyrics and everything, a lot of the transitions, and the whole like Tico Tico choirs and everything, I feel like made a big impact for this album. I wish a lot of bands would do a lot of backing vocals and add in as much as they can, because I'm okay with having just the record experience, you know what I mean, like and it just I do feel like this album is definitely like Queen on steroids, so to speak. But I just love it, man, like with Tony Kakko and the choirs just back and forth, it just I do love this album. Once we start getting more into some of the songs and everything, then it's like we could talk about each individual song. But it's cool because short little story, but like it's cool because like when you ordered those like first 3 Sonata Arctic albums, I'm pretty sure they were like the Spine Farm version and everything, which is cool because like they have like different artwork and stuff than like the Century Media reprint or whatever. And it was funny because whenever they came in, I think like maybe me and Jake, maybe Gene and Spencer went also or whatever, but like we went to like a dance or whatever, and then you were just like, nah, I'm gonna stay home and just listen to Sonata Arctica, and so
because that's the thing is they just came in the mail, so it's like I hadn't heard those albums yet, but me and Kevin had heard 30-second clips of these songs, and like we heard maybe 1 or 2 songs from those prior albums because this is the only album that we had prior to that. So hearing 30-second clips on Circus City, we were kind of
also
like
CD Universe was the other one.
Hearing that, we were kind of like, man, what is the rest of these songs gonna sound like? Like it was like we were building the anticipation for at least like a year or more until we finally, as ninth graders or whatever, we didn't have an eBay account or anything like that to just order all of this music, But yeah, I stayed home. They went to a dance, and
you chose metal over girls. So like that was pretty funny.
Don't regret it.
Hearing that intro to Weballurgy for the first time, just sitting in the room, I was just listening to those albums and reading the lyrics along while I listened to them. I was just blown away. But
So like I said, man, I mean, this album, I think it shaped us a lot because we were still in high school, going through life, whatever, and so a lot of the album just felt really relatable. But that's kind of my thoughts on the album, and so I'll let you take it away, Brandon.
Yeah. So Kevin and Ian introduced this to me, young teenage, kind of impressionable. Like I don't remember what you first showed me, but I remember White Pearl Black Ocean like really hit me hard.
Yeah. And
like that song just kind of blew me away. But then you gave me like all 4 of their first CDs. And Ecliptica was like my favorite. Just like I couldn't get enough of it.
Right.
But then I started like listening to some of the others down the road, and this, it was like second favorite, sometimes first favorite. Like it's kind of hard to say. Like they're all favorites. Like which one is top favorite?
Yeah.
So,
and we used to burn you a bunch of like CDs and stuff, and we would like put on a variety of like power metal and whatever, but like
give me like 30 metal CDs. But like Ian mentioned, like they didn't know like the genre, so it was just like speed metal mix one, speed metal mix 2, and I was like, oh yeah, it's all speed metal. This is sick stuff. Like
it definitely sounded speedy, But it's like
that was what we called it. We didn't even know speed metal was a genre either
at the time.
I didn't know prog, didn't know none of like
metal was just
metal. Like
But it's
this
like
is good stuff.
We didn't put any Sonata Arctica on any of those burns because
I had just Sonata Arctica.
Yeah, we knew we had to get you the
album.
full because we didn't want to like pick the best songs because like all of the
They're-
songs were like
Right.
Like, how do you
fantastic,
pick
so.
just their best
Yeah.
song? Like, all
Yeah.
of them are their best
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like it's one of those things like a whole compilation, like the album itself is kind of telling stories as it goes
Yeah.
on sometimes.
Yeah,
like,
and I think that was like my first experience of really like listening to full album all the way through.
Right.
Was Sonata Arctica and a Stradivarius. You know,
Right.
those two, I had full albums for those.
Yeah. I feel like, because Metallica was the first metal band me and Kevin grew up with, I feel like Metallica and Sonata Arctica have a little bit in common in that the first 4 albums are like absolute masterpieces, stunning, and then their 5th album is the one that usually
Like
kind of divides
polarizing.
fan bases. Yeah. Of course, you know, most people love the Black Album, but the die-hard metal thrash people are kind of like, that's when they lost their edge or whatever. And same thing with Sonata Arctica with
Mixed
Lunia. That's
reception
when they were
there.
doing their own thing and whatnot. And then since then, it's been kind of varying degrees of quality. Their first 4 are still the best, and I still love Sonata Arctica's music today. Like, it's still great, but man, they were just freaking firing on all cylinders in these first, 4 or 5 records. That it's just so untouchable when it comes to this kind of genre of music. It's amazing.
you know,
Well, yeah, let's go ahead and start jumping into the album.
Let's do it.
And this is the Japanese version of the album, so we are going to do Wrecking the Sphere for the bonus track. So anyways, but first we're going to start off with Misplaced.
You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah, let's do
There
it.
it goes.
Got our trusty lyrics up.
Okay. Breaking Night.
Done did it. Done did it.
Cool. I'll go first as far as ratings go. Yeah, it's a 10, man. There's like, I mean, what else do you want? Like, this is the first album with Henrik Klingenberg, and I like his I guess it's like the Hammond organ
Yeah,
sound in it.
yeah.
That's pretty cool, and piano bit, the keyboard and the guitar solos are awesome. And I love when the choir comes in and Tony Kaka's just like, you know, I can understand. You know, it's like his voice is like trailing off, getting lost in the, you know, while the choir just takes over. Like, it's just so sick. I think that's awesome. Amazing song, lyrics are great. Yeah, 10 for me. What do you think, Jake?
Again, it's a great song. It's like sometimes you know you want to start not just going straight 10s in my opinion, but it's like
Jake,
it's like
are we
that
going
thing.
to fight this whole
No,
I'm messing.
like
No, you want to be as like objective
as objective as possible.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so it's like, you know, obviously there's 10, but now there's going to be 11 songs because the extended version or whatever Japanese release. But it's like if you were to actually rate them in like order of like 1 through 10, which one would you say is the best? I don't know. But we're not doing that. Thank goodness. All right. I mean, it's a 10 because it's probably one of the best ones on the album.
I gotta type that in before it gets too
Yeah,
big.
before it changes. Don't let it change.
Lock it in.
Yeah, solid song, great, great melody, great meaning, kind of just good songwriting, lyric writing, good melodies, great solos. The drums are still going hard. Still got their very like early Sonata power where it's just hard, like. Oh. Plus, it's like, yeah, dude, like my first jump into metal, let's go back for just a quick second. It was like my first jump before I even met Kevin and Ian. I actually like listened to the like Metallica Saint Anger album. That's like the only metal. It was a terrible album. Well, okay.
I'm sorry, Jake.
Yeah, I know. So when they're like coming in, they're like, dude, yeah, we like Metallica. I was like, dude, I don't know. But
Lucky you.
I know, right?
Lucky you.
So it was just like, here's this one introduction to metal, and then you're getting stuff like this, like Sonata. That's why, like Brandon was saying, it's like it blows you away. Like it's just so much more different than you expect, and it still kind of has that fresh feeling. Like it's clean, it's fast, it's hard, it's got meaning. It's just great atmospheres all around. So yeah, we're all misplaced.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 10. Also, man, the transitions are just seamless. This time was not meant for me. It's just, great transitions. I really love the drums. I love the fills in between. I think Tommy Portimo does a fantastic job on drums.
Solid.
And I mean, just like all the other Sonata fans out there and everything, I do miss Yanni Limatainen on guitars. I do miss him a lot because it just I loved his rhythm type stuff, but then his solos as well. Like it just I mean, you know, you listen to like Black Sheep and stuff, and you're just like, the guitar solo, you know, we all know.
Yanni
but
was
it's just
amazing.
like. So I feel like this is kind of the golden lineup, you know. I mean, I like Miko Harkin and everything, but I love this area of Sonata with these, you know, 5 members and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, not much more to add than what you guys have already added. But yeah, dude, fantastic soloing and just like I said, great choruses too. You know, just a very solid sound. I wish more power metal and stuff would implement more of that organ type sound with speedy songs, because I hear a lot more of like, you know, maybe horns, you know, Celeste or heck even Rhapsody and stuff. Like I think they're going
epic sound.
going more for like epic triumphant type sound, but I like the almost like the moodiness of like that Hammond organ, you know. It just feels more strong than like horns.
Atmospheric.
Yeah,
it's like that melancholy but hopeful feeling, or kind of it almost has like spiritual sound. You know, that's why they use it in like religious things and stuff like that. It's like it's great for that, like a different sound, and I'm all about that. Bands out there, if you're listening to this, dude, like different instruments, I love it if you can incorporate it in good ways. Like, dude, broaden the horizons, man.
Yeah,
and find ways to bring it in.
And just solid song, but yeah. What do you think, Brendan?
10. Just, that's an awesome introduction. Yes. It hits hard.
I should have done 9.5.
It just cuts straight into the soul, though. It just got such meaning, and like it just drives right through.
Yeah. I never had a chance I could understand.
I don't have much more to add. It's kind of all been said, but
yeah. All right,
it's beautiful.
Ready for track 2?
Blinded
this is Blinded No More, y'all.
All right.
All right, so I'll take off. Yeah. This one's a weird one for me in a way, because like I kind of remember it. I mean, it's been a little while since I've listened to this album, so it's, you know, just take everything, you know, with that. But like, I kind of remember that being a harder song for me. Like, it hit harder as a teenager for some reason. Like when I used to listen to it, so. It was weird because it was really mellow. I just thought it was really mellow this time. Like, I'm kind of surprised, you know? And, like, I don't always listen to the lyrics or read the lyrics as I'm going along. So, like, it is nice to do that. But, so it definitely helps make it more familiar again. But, yeah, that's pretty good. Like, kind of sad. Like, in one way, I don't feel like as connected to the song because, you know, I haven't had that sort of experience. Like, you know. Found the one I wanted, stuck to it, but good song, like a really, really melodic. Holy smokes!
Not blinded no more, huh?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. For me, I'm probably gonna say 9.5 because it's not like as strong for me, but there's a lot that I like about it. So like, yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 10.
No,
because we're Forgotten Legends of Bias. I love this album. You know, I love that the guitar solo in between sections. I think the solo section with the keyboard solo, you know, and then going into the guitar, it's just perfect solo sections. I do feel like this song starts elevating more and more as the song goes on, because at first it's just your pretty face. You know, it's pretty chill. At least he's not chugging the same note though. Going jin 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 jin. You know, he's moving around a bit, but he's kind of sitting there just chugging along. But yeah, this is a song that for me it is weaker than some of the others, but I still think it's a masterpiece song. I love all the lyrics and everything. I love just you know, take it for granted again. And I agree with you, Jake. Yeah, because like when I was younger, this song was more emotional, maybe more stronger and everything. But I still think like I don't see anything wrong with this song at all. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 10.
What do you think, Brandon?
Awesome song, like really amazing. I love just how it can be heavy but light at the same time, like just the contrasting there. They just mesh it together so perfectly. I don't connect with it as emotionally, and it's like for that reason I'm not going to give it a 10, but like it's dang close. Like 9.5 for me, or maybe like 9.8. I don't know if we do weird stuff like that. But just really awesome, really amazing song, just all around.
Yeah, no complaints.
Well, you guys are gonna hate me. No,
3. No.
I mean, no, I'm giving it a 9. I still think it's a fantastic song. As far as the album goes, it's like one of the weakest songs for me. I sometimes get a tad bit bored during it, but at the same time, like a lot of the melodies are really good. The song has a kind of sleepy vibe to it. I wish there was like a little bit more to it, you know. I don't know, but I don't know how you would even fix it to make it a 10 for me, you know, because everything they do is still great. The guitar solo is awesome. I like the chorus. The chorus is good. The lyrics are probably elevates the song a lot. I think that whole little part where love is a little death between two little lives, nothing more, you know. This song is, I guess, about a person that's just like disillusioned with love, and he keeps going back to somebody that's just hurting him, but because at first he thinks that it's love, but it's really just lust that's consuming all of his reasons for going back to this person, and you know, keeps taking the low road or whatever. And I agree with you guys. I do think the song hit harder when I was younger too, you know, like the lyrics like connected more and stuff. Still a fantastic piece, but as far as like the album goes, like it's not something I would ever go out of my way to listen to, but in the context of the album, I still think it's a great song. You guys ready for Ain't Your Fairy Tale?
Shall we press on with all possible dispatch?
Yes, we'll press on with all possible dispatch.
And I don't appreciate the personal rancor.
Sounds so foreign. No, I'm from England. Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
For all you fans of so. Woo.
All right, man. Yeah, I'm gonna give that a freaking 10, man. I've always loved this song, even from, you know, when we first got into this album and everything. It's funny because like I've seen this band live probably like 7 times now, you know. I don't think I've ever heard them play this song live though, you know. And so this is one of those songs that I'm kind of like, man, I wouldn't mind, you know, before I die or whatever, you know, seeing this song live, because I just think it would be awesome, you know. Yeah, it follows the whole like, you know, each album has like a Wolf theme song and everything, and this is kind of the Wolf song for the album, but I think it's a fantastic song, you know. It keeps the momentum going and everything, and it's just, you know, the pack they've always feared is back, you know, and it just, I don't know, man, it's a great song. I've always loved this song, just nice, speedy, great soloing, you know. Yeah, not much more to add.
Yeah, for me, awesome song, really great, just hard driving, just gets your blood pumping, but like it's not masterpiece for me. I'm gonna have to say 9.
That's debatable.
This is just Brandon's humble opinion, guys. Like,
yeah,
good, awesome stuff all the way around.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you felt like it was weaker than track 2? Like track 2 hit harder than that one?
Yeah, that song's never really like done anything for me. Just like a hard, heavy song is like I like it when, you know, running or doing exercise or something. Just keep the blood pumping and flowing. But other than that, it's kind of a throwaway song in as far as this album goes. But I mean, it's a throwaway song that it gave a 9. So I mean,
I'm giving it a 10. I love it. I love their Wolf songs. I like how they introduce it with like that whole "the ones who seek justice," you know, which is kind of like they repeat it like 3 times in the song, but it's not like the chorus part or whatever. Like I don't know what you'd call it. I think that's cool, and I love how he's just like, you know, these might be our last times, and like the way the choir's doing like a descending melody while his voice is going ascending.
Yeah.
You know, maybe our last time. Yeah, you know, like that's really awesome, and the keyboard and guitar solos together during that bit is just perfect. You know. Yeah, just fantastic. 10 all around for me.
It is funny because, like, you know, back in the day, we thought that one section, whenever he's like saying like, "This is the story I told unfolding before you," like you and I, like when we were younger, dude, we were super dramatic, you know, super into like storytelling, whatever, and we were like listening to it. It almost sounds like, you know, this is the story I tell. I'm falling before you. So like in our mind, we were like, oh, you know, the elder wolf sacrificed himself for the younger wolves, and you know, whatever. And then like read the lyrics, and then we were like, unfolding before you. That's kind of cool, but you know,
Not as
like,
cool.
yeah. So we were like,
It wasn't as metal.
we were like, man, it would have been cool if it was just like, I'm falling before you, you know, going back into the rain for them.
I mean, it fits
You
so
know.
well when he's just like, what he says, no glory to way like this may, or, oh man, what does he say? They don't fear the wolf, but the wild within. No glory to the way this must end. This is the story I tell. I'm falling before you, waiting for the This might be our last time. I ain't gonna see you. Like, that's more dramatic.
Right,
and
right.
that's more like, yeah, Sonata Arctica. But unfolding before you just seems like anticlimactic, you
Right,
know?
right.
So maybe Brandon's correct with the 9, you know? You know?
I'm a little justified in that.
But I still think it's a masterpiece song. Like,
Yeah.
it feels a lot like Wildfire to me, where it just goes, you
Yeah.
know, and a lot of like not your typical verse, you know, bridge, chorus, verse, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. It just kind of goes wherever the pack leads, and that's why I love this song.
Yeah.
But anyways,
What do you
yeah.
think, Jake?
All right, so there's a couple of things, good and bad, right? Like, okay, so musically, love it. Lyrically, pretty solid. Like, I didn't really attach to it that much, but like, I like that it hits hard and it never lets up. Like, it does feel like you're like a hunt, you know, like the wolves are hunting the hunter, like the wolf is going down, and so it's like that whole song makes you feel that like constant just energy
The
and
pressure is
hope
on.
and like it's a kind of a. They'd like to do a lot of duality, you know, where it's like sadness and hope and, you know, loss and love and all these things. Like, they do that. So it is really good. It's a really good song. I like it. But it's still a 9.5.
Okay. At least it's not, you know, Mr. 9 over here.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. At least there's no 8s or 7s.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
we'd be like, oh,
Stop
you
the
gotta-
video.
Right now.
Change your plans.
Explain yourself.
You're kicked off this channel. How did I invite you?
Sorry, fans. We gotta kick someone out.
Now, for Reckoning Day, Reckoning Night, are we rating that one, or are we gonna let it lead into 5?
I kind of want to let it lead into 5.
Yeah.
You know, because
So
And
do
then-
4, then 5 right
So
after.
treat it as more of an interlude rather than a song.
Yeah,
itself. Okay,
I
that
just-
sounds good to me.
I think it's good for atmosphere and everything, but it doesn't feel like an
It's really a
instrumental song by
simple
itself.
melody, and that's
Yeah.
kind of it. It's beautiful,
Yeah.
but it's Okay, so then we're doing 4 and 5 together. Then
That's what I think. You all agree?
you all
That's
agree?
fine.
Let's do it.
Okay,
Cool.
Let's do it.
We'll vote them separately, but we'll listen to them together.
Oh,
Well,
are we,
well,
we're thinking not even voting.
Not even.
for-
Oh,
voting
not
for
even?
four.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes when there's like a short song or it's like an interlude or instrumental,
But it's
sometimes we
beautiful.
skip it. You know?
You're like, well, Jake, are you giving it a 10? Because we can vote on it. Like,
If we all don't give it a 10, then we're not voting for it.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't feel like a.
Yeah,
Like-
it has too much
I get that,
wispy
yeah.
wind through it all, and then just that kind of repetitive. You know,
Well,
like,
let's just-
it's still
let's-
great.
We'll talk about those segues though, because like Blinded No More ends, right? And it's just kind of like, and then like Ain't Your Fairy Tale comes in like bam, like, and it's kind of the same way. So Ain't Your Fairy Tale ends and the wind's kind of blowing out, and then Reckoning Day, Reckoning Night starts, and it kind of like builds in again. And so it's like that's this album. It's like a
It has
long.
a cool flow.
That's why it's like you couldn't pull this part. You couldn't pull the album apart and like just include some songs to give to someone. It's like
Yeah,
it does flow as a whole
yeah,
thing.
that's true. Yeah.
So
This is an interesting album too because most albums they're front loaded. This one is heavily back loaded. Like I don't know any album where the last half is insanely good. Like more than the first half is still amazing, but you know what I mean. Like saving all their best tracks for the later end is just
Well, the second
Bold
half is
move.
the second half is a lot more like Queen, like operatic and a lot
and
more.
the lyrics are like more engaging and
Yeah.
it's just dude, like this second half is some of their best songs like freaking ever. It's just like hard.
it's
hard
kind of
to-
one of
hard
those
to beat.
questions like where it's like I wonder if they as a producer they were thinking like Katko's like dude these are good songs and they're like okay well you've already kind of established a bit of a sound and so it's like let's work people into some of these variations or different ways of playing and stuff so it's like they start off with very kind of consistent what they've already kind of stylized done and then it
they
shifts into this new thing so it's like hey guys grow up.
Yeah, I feel
This
like
is where our sound is going now. Keep up.
I feel like nowadays power metal bands, because it's been so canonized in a way, power metal bands would have probably just put White Pearl Black Oceans at the beginning. Like start off with an epic, because ever since like Avantasia and like Halloween and stuff, it just seems like you have to either start the album with Epic or end with an Epic, you know, like it's rarely ever like, oh, track 9, you know, but I like where this one is placed, and I guess we'll talk about that when we get to it, but
All right, so just so I understand, like we're doing 4 and 5 together?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty then. Let's. Wow.
yeah, this is Brandon's time to
All right,
Wow.
Brandon.
Yeah, buddy.
5.
Yeah.
That was a full baseline. No.
Oh.
That's a 10 for me. No.
Yeah.
No, that one. My part of my musical experience is I never really delved super deep into anything. I just kind of like surfaced a lot. But like as I did dive deeper and deeper, I started to gain a little more understanding, a little more awareness. This is one of those songs where I didn't quite understand it, but I would rock out to it like all the time. But like the more I understood it, like the sadder it became. It's like, oh dang, like this isn't just a cool, fun rock out song. It's like, no, like this is sad.
It's like
This is
dark.
heartbreaking. This is dark. It's a little bit scary, but
Yeah.
just it's been really great just learning it, discovering it, delving into it, really understanding its secrets and what it's holding.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just rocks. Like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah. I'm giving it 10 as well. Fudging masterpiece. Like, there's so many lines in the song that are just... The one that stood out this time was the whole part where he's like, I hold awake for a promise torn, or whatever, you know? I'm like, that's pretty wild. Like, and I like the whole, like, sick, you know, sort of like, you know, like it doesn't matter how long you live, it's what your morals say, you know? And like how that can be twisted into like this, like, crazy dude's mind, you know? And like, even just like, you know, when he says like, it won't be now long now, love, like mist, I slowly fill the room. Like, man, dude, like this song, like it's like every freaking line is like fudging poetic, you know, in a very dark way, and it's just so good. And that chorus really does rock. Like, it's impossible to not headbang during that chorus. So I give it a 10.
And just for me, like, there was a part where it's like, he said, like, my angel, why? I always thought he was saying, like, my angel, cry. So, like, seeing it, it's like, oh, that changes the meaning just a little bit. Like, he's asking why. He wants to know. He's not like, oh, an angel's crying. It's like, no. He wants to know why.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, it just...
She's like, cause you're crazy.
Yeah.
No. No, I'm messing.
That's it. You done.
Oh, I mean, I could go on, but like, real quick, musically though, like the way the guitar is just like, it gives it this good rhythmic kind of, and then they keep like the rhythm guitar on that song is like, I don't know, it gives it this sort of heavy, dark vibe, but it also keeps things going along. Like, it's just freaking awesome, you know. I don't know. What do you think, Jake?
Yeah, it's gonna be a 10. Questions are biased. Okay, there's a lot to the song, so we bring brief. It's one that's like over time it constantly changes for me. Like the vibe is always the same in the song, and it's always awesome. You can rock out to it, but it's like in those darker times, like in a relationship, or in those like weird times of like life, it's like sometimes it hits differently for me. Not that it ever hits badly, but like I don't know, there's sometimes where it's like I would listen to it and I was like, man, this song's too dark, it's too messed up, like in a way. And then there'd be other times I'd be like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. It's like, it's just, you know, things happen, people fall apart, and it's messed up in life, and you can kind of apply it to not just relationships. And so it was like, yeah, there were times where I'd listen to that and just be like angry, crying and stuff, you know, just good stuff. So
You're like, I want something dark and heavy.
yeah, exactly.
I got to.
It's gonna punch me right in the soul.
Yeah. And for me, I always listen, like I'm saying, like Reckoning Day, Reckoning Night right before. It was like, if I was listening to the whole album through too, it's like that, I think, just emphasizes how strong that song kind of takes off and hits again. Because it's like, you know, it's all like peaceful and you're
Atmosphere.
like, oh. And that song's kind of crazy, and you can feel the like energy, the negative energies, and the like weird.
It starts to build tension in it.
Right, like a tension. That's a good way to say it.
Yeah.
Building tension, and then that takes off, and you're just like, oh man, like
the fact that you hear the keyboard like fading in, like as before it goes into track 5, you know, it's like a train that's about coming to hit you, and then the song hits, and you're just like, here we go, we're in hell. You know? It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 10. Heck yeah, it's a masterpiece. I do think that this song is probably their darkest song they've ever written. You know, there's a difference between like lyrical heaviness or darkness and musical heaviness, darkness, and everything. Of course, there's darker music out there and everything, but this blend, you know, with Sonata's sound as well as the lyrics and everything, I just think it's superb. You know, it's kind of cool because I remember when we were listening to this, we were like, oh, hey, the guy's voice, you know, Nick Van Ekman or whatever, you know, we're like, hey, that's the same guy off of like, you know, track 4, end of this chapter, you know, with the phone call and everything. Oui, c'est moi, you know, and so it was.
Didn't he do the silence intro too?
I think so.
Yeah, it's everywhere, hiding in this land. Without it,
like,
I could not live. You know, silence.
I think it's like same guy.
Like, so it was really cool that they brought back that voice guy. You know,
because it is
have
tied to that.
Yeah, and this is the whole, you know, the Caleb.
His storyline.
Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 songs with the whole, you know, and so, yeah, end of this chapter, don't say a word. They're all connected and everything, but basically, yeah, you're a psychopath, you know, whatever. But it's just done so well, you know. I love how he's like, you know, your night is nowhere near. Unfortunately for you, this makes me your God. You know, God. And then it fades out because, you know, like there's people that talk about how like, you know, crazy killer people or whatever is like, it's like playing God, you know, who lives and who dies and everything. And the fact that like, you know, this woman is at the whims of this madman, you know, it's just
her entire life is in his hands now, and he's got the power and
tortured and stuff.
Right. And so, but as it fades out and then it just comes, you know, it's a very tense, very atmospheric song, but just awesome.
The storytelling is insane.
Yeah.
It's just a great, you know, engaging. Like if it was like in a movie, this would be like a crazy thriller kind of thing.
Yeah. Like if you were to make it in, I don't know if they have like a movie for it, like music video for it, but if it was, it'd be an intense one.
They do have a music video. It's been more than
I know they're rocking out in it.
Yeah. But the music video cuts it short too, which destroys. Like I hate radio edit,
like
single edit,
instead.
all that. Like because they cut out like parts of like the solo, I think, and like it's been like more than 10 years since I've seen that video. But yeah, the video's just kind of there, you know.
So I normally don't watch music videos. I don't like often how it changes the song because sometimes it's like you watch a music video and then it doesn't match up to the song in my opinion. And so you're like, I don't know where this is going. Like, just kind of distracts from the music.
I think they even cut out the whole second verse in the video too.
Really?
Like, there's a lot cut out. I remember
like
there.
It's just like, don't ever say you love me, whore. You know, you never meant the words. I know you're lying. And then it just like goes right into the chorus or something. Like it's just like instead of going back to the whole, you know, I read a book about it. It's just like. It's like, never love me, whore. I stayed alive this night before the first night. Like, it does something crazy like that. Where it just jumps. I just mother always said myself. And then it's just kind of like, what the hell did you guys do with this single
weird editing?
The single edit is just not helping.
It's rough, shall we press on?
Sure. Yeah. Boy, you want to be a real puppet.
This next one's a banger, too.
Woo! Yeah. That song in a way kind of reminds me a little bit of like Wishmaster from like Nightwish kind of vibe to it, just because like the Oceanborn and Wishmaster time of Nightwish was when he did a lot more like piano stuff where he like wandered around and stuff, like Gethsemane or just some of those tracks where he's doing a ton of piano kind of stuff. And then it seems like the last like 4 or 5 Nightwish albums, it's way more just doing the symphonic stuff, less piano, unless it's like a ballad or something. Anyways, not super important, but I love that song. I think it's awesome. It's definitely the one where Henrik gets to shine a lot more, doing all that kind of stuff. And that whole like verse section in the beginning of the song is just really good. So many years ago, many more than I'd even care to clear in my mind. It has this sort of like Victoria's Secret a little bit style to it where they're playing piano during like the talking part or something, you know, like I don't know, just really really beautiful sounding, and it's definitely more proggy and changes up more. Cool story. I guess I don't have a ton to say, but just a really awesome song.
Do you want to share the story you wrote?
Oh yeah. Sure, yeah. What's funny is like, so when I was like in around 9th grade, we had to like write a story for a class. It's like an English class or whatever. So then I did a made up story trying to take, you know, Sonata Arctica lore from all the 4 albums and just put them in this story. And it was about this guy that, who goes the whole becomes a puppet and all that kind of stuff. And he has this girl named Dana or whatever, and all this kind of stuff. And I was just I kept on interspersing all of this stuff. And he meets another doll or whatever that's turned also, and her name was Mary Lou, and they're talking and talking. And then over time, eventually she stops talking because she becomes more of a permanent doll. And he's he still has a shred of his human bit left. And
dude, okay, can I take over here?
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's
the
fine.
climax of the story is awesome because, the puppet master is controlling him and everything, but then it's but then a twinge. Wait, I can move my arm. And then the puppet master's no, you move your arm the way I want it. Then I move the arm. And eventually the puppet grabs a knife and then cuts off the strings and then runs out. And then it's oh, yeah. Runs out into the cold and everything. Yeah. And he was away for 20 years and stuff. But not only Sonata lore, we also use some lyrics from other bands too, because we would, in your writing piece, you put down and it was a humble whatever, without a trace of silver and gold, to describe a building or whatever, which came from the Black Circus, and so there were so many just different drops of information,
I remember on sonataarctica.info back 20 years ago or whatever, I remember they had an email, so I emailed the story to them. It was 8 pages or something. But I never got a response. I was all hoping that they would think it was cool and stuff, But that didn't turn me into an angry fan. Oh, they don't have one of their fans or whatever, It was just kind of whatevs. But yeah, it was kind of cool.
That was a dope story.
I wouldn't mind trying to find that if I even have it on a hard drive or computer. That'd be kind of cool to find that again, because I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to that story.
You should email Sonata and ask if they can send it back.
20 years hey, in case you remember.
Do you have this story?
It's I'm looking for an old message I sent you.
What do you give this song, Jake?
I think this one musically and lyrically it's fantastic. So it's a 10 for sure. It was very different. I guess you could say, it was like you were saying, it's prog before really, because we weren't really into prog right away, but it took a little bit. But it just, for me, it felt like a weird breath of fresh air. If you're listening to Sonata Arctica and then that comes in, it's not so power metal, not so speed metal. It's this weird kind of bouncing song feeling, like a storyteller. So it's I can almost visualize in my mind a play, and there's people sitting around watching things happening. It's just I don't know. I like it. It's a great story. It helps put me in that mind space.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 10, dude. Of course, man. I love this song. I'm always playing this song. Sometimes whenever I'm driving truck, I'll just blast this song out loud for other people to hear and everything. And it's just, I don't know. There's something about this song that I really like. I do like the 3/4 time, kind of the waltzy vibe of the song. And just letting the keyboard guy just do whatever, he really carries forward everybody from scene to scene, Yep. And of course it's one of those songs where it's be careful what you wish for, because you might turn into a puppet. I don't know why this guy's thinking so small, but I guess I do like the whole wanting the fame and wanting the glory, and but really be a puppet,
Cautionary tale.
Cautionary tale, but fantastic song. Of course, the keyboards shine on this song for sure, but not much more to add. Masterpiece, yeah.
What say you, Brandon?
10 all the way. Really awesome. I love storytelling, combine it with music, and just one of my favorite part is when they slow it down and becomes introspective. It's so hard to remember my life, and it's kind of quiet, it's kind of peaceful, but then it gets a little bit more desperate. That it picks up, and it's just oh dang, this guy's he's struggling to maintain himself. He wants to escape now. And it's just. And it picks it up and heavy, and just it all ends with a sharp knife cut off. It's just dang.
Good. Especially when he says some things could end with the word they say this only. It's such a finality to that line, the fact that he says that and then this only ends with a sharp knife. It gives this impression of there is only one solution to this,
And it's just that hard cut, the sharp knife, and then the keyboard just kind of it's a completely different song now. It's. It was, just beautiful.
Yeah, that is pretty
beautiful.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, just saying that last line, I never knew what it said. I was saying, "Would you be with me, my Celine?" That word, "Would you bleed with me?" Like that changes things quite a bit. Like
reality cuts deep.
That's
Yeah,
right.
reality,
would you
man.
bleed with me? Like, dang.
Sucks, man. Reality cuts deep.
Mhm.
Yeah. Jake, this is your turn to
Yeah,
start.
Yes, it is.
Jake gets to start.
I know what you're gonna
It's a
do.
10. It's a 10. Honestly, that's probably one of the top 2. Top 3, but probably
We'll
one of
put
my
that
top
score up
2
there,
of
Ian.
this album.
Yep. I got you guys.
Like it's I mean, it does seem like it feels a little bit more like traditional power metal, but it's a great song all around. Like good flow, good lyrics, good sound, like good meaning. Yeah, dude, epic song. Like, and there's definitely, like, every time I listen to this, especially if I'm in the car, I have to be very careful not to be like headbanging and then like going too fast in the car or something. Like it's just like, dude, chill. But good song.
Yeah, it's funny because this song was written by Yanni, so that's pretty cool. I do like with stuff on here, same with like Kane's Offering and stuff, I do kind of get a feeling that Yanni loves the power metal and he loves like the melodramatic type stuff and everything. But man, with Tony Kako singing like these lyrics and everything, it's just so good, and so like if I was Yanni, like I'd be really proud of this song, and I'm gonna give it a 10 also because it's fantastic. And I love, after the second chorus, they've got some soloing, some talking parts, and then back into soloing and everything, slowly turning to nightmares, it helps us get more and more involved. The book is as empty as me. It's a very self-reflective song, but I really enjoy it. And just not being able to find love, being alone, all that stuff. So, anyways, 10 for me.
Yeah, 10. Just I love how much emotion, how much soul and feeling you can put into a metal song. Like, when I was younger, it's always like metal is it's just hard, it's heavy, and it's like that's all it is. It's hard and heavy. Like there's no soul to it. Like no, like really, like metal has a soul. It has a life beat. There's. I'm struggling to put this into words, but I hope you guys know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But
you had an experience, like you just had an experience with my Celine. Yeah.
It's a 10 all the way, man. The lyrics are great. I love that whole like rays of moon are dancing with the tide. Like that's such a romantic kind of visual that you get at night. I like this idea of like he's waiting every night for this chick to come and rescue him from the night of his life or whatever. But then as time goes on and as the night passes or whatever, that sort of like yearning for this other person never materializes. It never comes. So then he's kind of just like, now I'm only I'm in the light of new day I'll fade away, and then it's like he becomes the night. Like he just becomes a memory of somebody that used to hurt or whatever. I think that's like kind of profound or whatever. And it's a beautiful freaking song. This song and Don't Say a Word were the two that gave me chills while listening to it,
Right.
Because there's such a yearning in this song that's really like it's a tragedy basically,
Right.
And it's just so it's so amazing. But those melodies like are so good.
Just starting off with Nocturnal Poetry, we knew that this was an amazing band. Like when we were first hearing these notes and everything, we knew that this was like magical.
And it reminds me of Cinema Paradiso when the guy he's telling the boy about like this man goes Toto. He's like there's this night or whatever. He tells this girl in the tower, I'll wait 100 days day and night, snow, whatever.
Right.
And then on that day I'll I don't want to spoil too much. I know you haven't seen that movie, but for those who have seen it, and then like something I won't finish that story, but there is this sort of like he's kind of like dressed in the silvery white, dressed in the white as silver. You smile at me.
Yeah.
Every night I wait for my sweet Celine. So there's this sort of like vibe.
Yeah,
of,
but
like,
did he wait 100 days for his sweet Celine? Did he wait 100?
I know. Maybe sweet Celine wasn't so sweet after all.
Maybe he left after 99.
It's just a very like romantic kind of song and a tragic song and the melodies are
just
awesome
longing.
and it's such a masterpiece. Like
Yeah.
Cool.
I agree. Yeah, it's really cool to jump into this album because like all of us have history with this album, but it's always nice to stop and go through it with lyrics and everything, you know, and because there's a lot of really cool messages.
Yeah.
But,
now I'm like, oh, we have to watch Cinema Paradiso. While we're on this,
gotta watch Cinema Paradiso.
Yeah, that's a good
Such
next one. We've been building up to it.
Yeah.
For sure,
You guys ready?
Yeah,
All right.
I'm ready. Wildfire. This song's a banger too.
This one's intense.
All right.
Hot damn.
Heck yeah. Woo. I guess it's me now, huh?
Yeah, your turn.
Dude, I'm gonna give that a freaking 10. Of course, you know it's just perfect song. This one and Don't Say a Word are probably the two, you know, heaviest, you know, darker songs and everything. You know, a lot of vengeance, a lot of you know. Injustice. You know, I love that line. You know, until the rules are the same for us all. You know, it just. Anyways, sounds like another Madman on the mountain this time though. You know, but yeah, I love it musically. I love how the whole like da na 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 na. You know, it just it's a bit carnival like almost. You know, and bouncy, and it just takes you on a wild ride. You know, so anyways, yeah, I'm gonna give that a 10, man.
Yeah, and it is a wild ride.
Yeah,
And just
awesome.
This one's always been kind of low for me in the past, but definitely like reading with lyrics and this time and being here, it's going through the whole thing. It's higher than usual for me, but that's because like this one. This is the first time I've seen the lyrics for this song. Like I've never actually looked at the lyrics before.
Right.
Like for me, it was just like a really fast. I couldn't really understand what was going on. So I'm like, okay, he just wants to burn everything down. Like what the hell's going on? But as I'm reading, I'm like, oh, okay, so this guy, he's a little justified for wanting to burn everything down. Like he's crazy, but he's a little justified. You know, it's like everyone's blaming him for everything. Everything's his fault. He feels desperate, and he's like, you made me this way, so yeah, of course I'm gonna act this way now.
I am what you made me.
Yeah, exactly. It's like so a little crazy. So yeah, that bumps it up higher for me.
I like Wildfire.
Still,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd give it a 10 though, but
Yeah.
come back to me. I'm trying to decide.
Okay. What do you think, Ian?
I'm giving it a 10. Such an awesome song. It's cool hearing Henrik do the growly vocals here and there, coming in doing that. I'm pretty sure he's the one that does like that whole part. We are a force to obey, you know, stuff like that. And it's also cool hearing Tony Kako go wild too, you know, like
I am what you made me.
Yeah.
And just
and
going.
everybody gets what nobody deserves. You know, he's just going freaking wild, and the chorus is melodic, and it's just an awesome freaking song. Great lyrics. You know, I dug a grave for each day of pain, and it's just like, yeah. Again, just like the last couple songs, like the storytelling in this song is just so awesome, and the music just elevates it. It's got this fiery manic vibe. I like the whole like match made in hell, let the whole mountain burn. In a way, you're thinking match is in like a chess match, but you're also thinking match like a match light on fire kind of thing. You know, I don't know. Take that what you will.
Take that what you will.
Yeah, you know.
It's a lot of double entendre kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a 10 for me.
There we go.
I was like, ooh, do we got another?
We
Like,
ain't
come
gonna
back
think
to
about
me.
this one,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, come back to me.
For me, it was like, there was a lyric that I remembered wrong. If that's all right on that thing. So it's like, because I never heard for some reason I always missed the like the sins of the father are.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, like it was like passed on to the son. And so it was like he was getting blamed even for the stuff that he had no part of. Like his dad may have done something and he's getting blamed. It's like I didn't remember that part, and so that just kind of reinforced the whole story and arc of it, where it's like I'm sick and tired of being abused and blamed and everything. So it's like, yeah, he's a little bit crazy, but it's also like, yeah, you can definitely feel his frustration and rage, and it almost seems like a logical outcome that it's like everyone needs to be punished. So
there's definitely like, I like how you just kind of jump into the song and everything, but it's like we don't know the whole backstory for this, fictional town, this story.
Right.
We don't know all the backstory, but there's little hints dropped here and there of like, well, there's a father, there's like, a son, there's like, some blame going around, but I don't know.
Abuse going around.
Yeah, I still kind of like it being a little cryptic, like you don't have to have everything explained out, and yeah, but it definitely like piques your interest a little bit too, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a full story to explain the frustration and the rage and the injustice. It's like I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, if you imagine you're after the fact, you're coming to this village and you're like, dude, it's all been burned to the ground. What the heck happened? And this dude's up there just like ranting and raving and, you know, telling his story. And it's like, I'm sure it wouldn't make any sense, but in a way you'd be like, man, okay, well, you know.
You can see and get enough of the idea. It's like, oh, he feels like, you know, he's had enough.
Right, yeah.
He's reached his breaking point.
yeah.
That's one thing that I kind of like this song, and same with Don't Say a Word. Both of them are basically from the point of view of the dark protagonist or whatever.
Right.
So you see their justification, even though they're doing something that is not justified. It's not good. Like you should.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, like burn a whole city down because like some jerks in it. Like
Yeah.
you know, it's still like wild. Oh,
But, like-
okay. I thought I misspelled that. But at the same time, it's cool seeing the way that they, you know, are like, here's what pushed me to this edge. Or
You see their
here's what-
rage, you see their
Yeah.
pain, you see
Yeah.
like their justification for it.
Yeah.
Put a 10 for me.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Good job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot Legends of Bias.
Like,
There we
I was
go.
going like 9.5 and 9. Like where do I stand? But
Do you think this song has like more room to grow for you now that you have gone through it with lyrics and everything? Do you feel like going through this album, like, do you think this song has more room to grow?
absolutely.
Kind of thing, yeah.
Like for me, like I just listened to it, but I never processed this song.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh yeah, it's a really cool, fast banger.
Yeah.
But now that I'm more familiar with the lyrics now, it's like I need that a few more times though.
Yeah.
But definitely this song particularly.
I think
it has room
whenever
to grow.
Yeah, whenever it comes to like some of these songs like this, especially like where it's like, you know, it starts off one way and then it kind of leads into the stronger, more, you know, in-depth songs. It's like sometimes, because like I like to listen to the whole album normally, and it's like it's almost like I need to like listen to one, pause, get a break, and then move to the next one. Because like
Be able
like
to digest it.
right, exactly, to digest it, to kind of like evaluate. Because in a way, it's like normally by the time I get to like The Boy Who Wanted to Be a Puppet, like it's almost like I need a break because like all of what's happened so far is just like too much. And so sometimes like My Celine I like, but then Wildfire kind of faded in my mind. So like that's why it's like in my memory, Don't Say a Word is better than Wildfire. But I think I kind of like Wildfire more now than Don't Say a Word. Not that, you know, changes a whole lot, but it's like I kind of do.
But yeah,
So-
I know what you're saying though. Like listening to the full album just without stop, all those things are just bouncing around in your head, and your head
Right.
gets so full, and it's like, well, like we can't process anymore. We're done.
Right, exactly. Like
Yeah.
each song progressively starts to fade away as like slightly less important, just because you're just kind of like, you know, you're still stuck on some of the old stuff, misplaced. You're just like, dude, I could have stopped the album there for a little while.
Yeah.
So
It's like your attention, your focus is much more focused the first 30 minutes of the album.
Right.
And then as it goes on, you're like, oh, I'm thinking about this or I'm thinking about that.
right,
And then
so it's almost like turn it off after halfway through. Either listen to nothing or listen to something light, and then come back and listen to the second half
Yeah, give
as if it
yourself
was
a
just the
reset.
first. Yeah, and it would probably change the way it hits sometimes. So.
Kind of like when you're eating, you know, they're like palate cleanses. You know, clean your mouth out and then keep
Right.
eating the. Just
Yeah, drink some
reset
water.
your-
You know, put on like Baby Shark or something.
Y'all ready for the next banger?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. I just a guess, you know.
Is this one me?
Yep.
Yep.
You start
Yeah,
this
you
one,
start.
man.
Dude, like this really is like this is one of the first like songs that I remember listening to by Sonata, and it always hits me so powerful. Like almost every time it gives me chills. Just in the courtroom is like all on board the Bible have died. It's just like it's just overwhelming, just powerful, and it's just so like so sad and so deep, and it just cuts you through. But just the whole story is just wild, you know. It's just normal life, everyday life, just until something goes wrong,
Yeah.
and then suddenly like you're found like, well, how am I supposed to continue? Like the respect I lost, what the measure of a man, like. And just like, yeah, sure, he was found innocent, but like he doesn't feel, you know, innocent. He feels responsible, and it's just incredibly sad.
I think he was found guilty in the song,
I
but I
think
think
so.
that he just still could never pay back the like what he did, because he's the one that was supposed to guide the light that the ship crashed into the shore and killed everyone on board.
I view that differently, but that's interesting.
Yeah, we all give it a 10, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, 10,
yeah. Yeah, it's an awesome freaking song. The story is really cool. There's this sense of like duty that he should have just freaking tended his light. There's just like the last couple songs. It's a tragedy like all these other ones, And in order for him to atone, what he feels like he has to do is to commit suicide, belong to the deep, just like the rest of them. And pretty sad ending, but it's also an epic song, and it's a freaking masterpiece. I'm 10.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 10.
I've got 2 stories, but
it's like, I listened to it plenty of times. I mean, we've talked about it almost ad nauseum in a way. Like it is a tragedy, and it's like the only time that I've ever listened to a song, which crazy enough it's a metal song, that I've ever thought like, oh, maybe opera would be good. Maybe it could be. And then, it's like Islam is Rob, like fantastic musicals, fantastic stories. And it's like, I always thought that way because it's a very operatic kind of sounding song too. And so, but it's such a freaking tragedy, dude. Like, like I always took the impression, if we're looking at it as a story, like here's this lighthouse guy who, he's shy. He kind of sticks to himself. He doesn't really go out. And so it's like one time he goes out and kind of falls in love unknowingly with, someone who's already, I guess, with another guy. And then he comes and beats the crap out of you, and then you mess up, and he still blames himself. Like, it's like such an honorable dude, Like, I don't know. It's a tragedy, yeah.
I'm going to give it a 10. Yeah, there's definitely a lot that, we can take away from the story and everything. I've got 2 stories. The first one is, man, when I first heard this story, I was intrigued, and I remember, we had our CD player, and I was like laying down on the floor of like our living room. And dude, I played this song like 8 or 9 times while like looking through the booklet and just replaying the song, because it was a song that like, dude, I wanted to learn more, memorize the lyrics, so on and so forth. And it just, I mean, of course there's songs like that out there for everybody where you just play a song over and over again, but you mentioned it earlier. I really love that line where he's like, the respect I lost, the measure of a man. I really like that because, like Ian and I, we grew up in California with Brandon, and when we moved away to Florida, that's where we met Jake. And so it's like we were hanging out with Jake, and like, it was interesting because in California, we were like born there, we grew up there and everything, and we had all our friends. But when we moved to Florida, like we didn't know anybody, and there were different trials and whatever that happened in our lives, and so it just felt like the respect that I had lost in this old town. Like I was on the basketball team, had a lot of friends, whatever. But then it was also like I couldn't grow in California. I needed something different, and I learned a lot through the process of trying to make friends, trying to learn new things, because my old life in California wasn't going to prepare me, I guess, for the world or whatever. And so it's like I really like those lyrics. I really like the introspection and everything. And yeah, I don't have much more to add. I do think that the melodies and of course the choirs, really add a lot of oomph for the song, but yeah, it's just phenomenal song. Like I said, I do think Tony Kakko and like these guys would be proud of this. One more short story.
Take it away.
If you guys haven't been on like the 70,000 tons of metal cruise, like they just went like a month ago or whatever. I didn't go on that one, but I did go on the 2018 cruise. And it was cool because Sonata played 2 times, and they played like on the top floor, like the poolside deck or whatever. And it was at like 10 o'clock at night or whatever. And they did play White Pearl Black Oceans and Part 2 back to back. And it was cool because like my wife and I were just chilling up there, and you look out and there's all these waves and everything of just this dark blue and black and everything while they're all playing, all on board the White Pearl half died. It was just like,
dude,
and so I was like,
ocean.
Like we're out on the ocean and like they're playing White Pearl Black Oceans, playing that song while you're on a ship, it's definitely an awesome experience. And I feel, grateful being able to see them on on that cruise and everything. And so it's just, this song means a lot to me. It means a lot to all of us, for different reasons. And so, and it just a masterpiece. Like, Sonata should be proud of this one for sure, But anything you guys wanted to add, or should we keep on going?
Enough said
It's
here.
an ambitious song that they succeeded at.
For
It
real.
goes by quick for what, 9 minutes?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of saying too. Is it's like it's funny because like in those
it's
last
already
couple of
over?
verses, I was thinking like, man, this song is a long song, but it's like it already feels like it's over. Like it felt quick, like 3 minutes or something.
And I agree with you, bro. Like, dude, that intro, I was born and raised by the sea, shy yet proud, learned to stay away from the crowd. It just, just starting off that way is so freaking good.
Yeah, to see about a girl.
Yeah,
That's right, that's
see
right.
about a girl.
Wait for it.
From my unmarked.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm giving that one a 10. It's such an awesome freaking song. I think the lyrics are really poignant in that song. Like they're very. The previous songs, like they're fantastic storytelling. This song is probably one of the most down to earth kind of songs.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a sort of falling apart of like the first time you've ever had a broken heart with somebody as a kid or whatever. And I like how he talks about how like his feelings were shamming to lie. Like it wasn't a real relationship. Like it just wasn't there. She told the truth to him. Well, she or him, whoever, told the truth to this protagonist, that they couldn't ever be or whatever, and then that suddenly just destroyed the whole friendship. Even having invested feelings just kind of, and I like how
friends. No.
yeah, and it's kind of like now
Not without love.
you just can't that kind of like encounter, you just can't like ever go back to the way it was before. You're a changed person after that. And I love how he's like basically seeing the whole world now through my wide open eyes, like it's like now I could see things a little bit clearer, love got better of me, and it's awesome. Song 10.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 10 as well for me. Like two things. So like you were saying, it's like it's nice, like you said, first time love, childhood, friendships that. Because that's one of those things, like when you're little, sometimes you can be friends with a girl and it doesn't matter until all of a sudden you start reaching that age where attraction starts kicking in. And it does seem like that's kind of the impression I'm getting is it's like this is a childhood friend, they grew up together, and then it changed to something else, and because he was blinded by that, or vice versa, like couldn't see the reality, and it changes you, but it also makes you see the world in a truer way with wide open eyes and things. And then the other thing that I love about that song is it's like Kako does a lot of like voice inflection. It kind of like he changes the way he's singing, not just it could be the same notes level, but like the sound he adds inflection to it, and I really like that one part. Like we go back to lyrics. Sorry,
No worries.
I don't want to like
computer
mess it up,
sucks.
but like it's like where was it? Oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure it's like here, can we ever have what we had then? Friendship unbreakable. Like those lines, can we ever have what we had then? The way he has that tone in it is just fantastic in my opinion. It's like, can we ever have like what we had then? Friendship unbreakable. Like I don't know. I can't even do what he did, but like I just think that's like very beautiful the way his voice says those lyrics. So
It's a very pleasant song.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 10 also. I mean, Kako does a great job with gruff as well as like clean and soft, going between the two. Yeah, great song. I like the song. It just reminds me a lot of like growing up, childhood, all that stuff. And yeah, I think it's a fantastic song. It swells, yeah, not much more to add though, but yeah, definitely a 10. I do love this song.
And yeah, no, I agree. Like he does express very emotional. Like he expresses emotion well in his voice.
Yeah.
And like not only is he talented, he sings, hits the notes well, but he puts his soul into it, and you can feel that coming through, especially on songs like this.
Yeah.
And yeah, just just awesome song about life. Kind of naive a little bit, young,
Yeah.
not quite really fully aware of the world. Yeah, put a 10 for me.
Yeah.
Like just really awesome all around.
like sometimes I wonder like for artists that have written the songs, like I wonder like how they view certain songs as like a whole, like on this album. What would they say is like something? Because I feel like Shaman Delight is such a polished song that like, because it's so powerfully genuine in my opinion, like so many people can relate to it. So I'm curious, like at what point does an artist feel like part of them has been given to the world, and like you're sharing part of yourself, and so many people can relate. And I wonder if that's both like a positive thing for them or a negative thing, I guess. Like
how it reflects on the creation process,
right?
Because
I like that line where he says nothing could be as cruel as a child, or whatever, or whatever. Like it's kind of a, sometimes that just blunt honesty that kids, would have, like no tact. And I kind of want to read this line because I think this is kind of cool. He says, "I was unable to cope with what you said. Sometimes we need to be cruel to be kind. It's like honesty is more important than just freaking, than instead of like hiding something, or
just like to not hurt someone's feelings."
Right.
Yeah, it's like it's better to give the truth and to hurt them than to not and to have them live a lie,
Right.
And he says, "A child that I was could not see the reason. Feelings I had were but sham and a lie. I have never forgotten your smile, your eyes, oh sham and a lie." And this is, he kind of calls her or whatever as the sham and the lie now or whatever. "Time went by, many memories died. I'm writing this down to ease my pain. You saw us always clearer than me, how we were never meant to be. Love denied meant the friendship would die. Now I have seen the light. These memories make me cry." And I'm just like, yeah, solid.
Yeah.
That's how you do it, man. That's how you freaking, yeah. I think
so
that song's
honest.
Yeah, so on it, that song is like freaking pure creation.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's not the most amazing, music, or like it's not pushing any right. It's not going crazy on the music or instruments, but it's like it's so raw and honest, and I feel like it really says through. That's why I feel so polished. It's like he's really exposed his soul in that song in a way, and so it's like
showing a little
I appreciate
vulnerability there.
Right, vulnerable, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like I really appreciate the heck out of that song. Like, so.
Oh man, got one more to go, guys. You guys ready?
I'm excited about this one. This one I'm not familiar with.
I think I've only heard this a couple of times. So
do we even have the hidden track on there or no?
Yeah, hidden tracks on here.
Maybe we'll play it while we're adding the scores up, or I don't know.
Yeah, okay, that
I
works.
don't know.
Problem is it's well, I don't remember how long it is, but anyways.
The hidden track.
Don't they say like Twistle Blight and the Twistle Blight? They're like you hear like some bottle and anyways.
I know they're just like ding, ding, ding. Oh yeah,
While
yeah,
they're,
yeah.
like,
Okay. Or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll just
Then
do
I'll
it,
just
but I'll
play
like
it.
add
Yeah,
the
keep
scores
going.
while
Yeah.
we're doing it or something.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Wrecking the Sphere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Japan
This is a good
release.
one.
It's a nice short song, 7 minutes long.
You're like, oh, good beginning. Good beginning.
And
Like I've listened to it maybe 2 times, maybe 3 times, but
keyboard solo starts.
It'll be interesting to hear Brandon's thoughts because he probably never heard this at all.
Maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
to just go into the jam, or you want me to stop
Well,
it?
we'll talk about this song first, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We could do the scores and just tell them we're gonna play jam. I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I'm taking off. Like it already, isn't like a super familiar song. So like listening to it, I'm not blown away by anything. There was that one like set of lines. Sorry, I gotta jump back because I'm not good at remembering them.
back.
This one is like, truly we're a lost cause, a tiny rhymeless word in the poem of time. Like I like the way that sounds when he's singing it. Like it almost feels like it needs to be put into a different song. Like because I just wasn't impressed by a lot of the other lyrics in this.
Jake, why are you wrecking this here?
I don't know. It's like, I guess if you're looking at it in a geopolitical sense, it's like, I guess it's a pretty good song. But if it's like as a comparison to a lot of the other Reckoning Night songs, it's like, dude, this
Right.
is. Yeah, I could see why it was not included on the regular set. Like,
Like it's definitely a bonus track.
It really doesn't
Right.
fit.
yeah,
in the
it really
album.
feels a little out of place in a way. It kind of makes me maybe like they didn't polish it that well, or I don't know where it would have come from. And that's always that's another question altogether about like where did the bonus tracks come from on like special release albums and stuff. So it's like, was it like a song they were writing and they just never managed to polish it up, or I don't know. But I'd probably give it like a 7 because it wasn't bad. It just wasn't amazing either.
Yeah. I'm going to give it an 8. Yeah, there are some transitional issues that I have with this song. Like, I like that whole 7/8. Must believe in yourself. Know the choices you make. But then right when they go back into back into the chorus, I feel like I don't like that transition. So some of the transitional parts, I'm kind of like, yeah. And plus, it's too long for me. I would have been okay if the song just kind of stayed speedy, because I really like that verse section. I see the landscape before me, so beautiful. Like, I love that talking part, but the second half of the song, they kind of meander around a bit, and I don't feel like we needed the whole, it just, I don't know. So, yeah, I still enjoy this song, I think it's pretty solid, but it does have some gripes, or I have some gripes with some of the transitions and things. So, but yeah, what do you think, Brandon?
Yeah, so kind of the same thing. Like, it was good, but it wasn't amazing. Well, it didn't blow me out of the water or anything. Like, it was good. I enjoyed it. Pretty good song. It is okay message, but like, it doesn't really fit the album.
I will say too, like Sonata Arctica, they've always been like all about like saving the environment and everything. I like a lot of their environmental type songs, like their older songs, and I still count this as like one of their older environmental songs. But my favorite's always going to be "Respect the Wilderness," like versus some of the newer ones. But it just, it's got some issues, but yeah. So what you gonna give it, Brandon?
Yeah, I think it's 7.5. It's not quite an 8, but it's not quite a 7. So
It's a song that I definitely like, and I like the first couple minutes the most, but then it kind of loses steam like halfway through for me. That keyboard song, like it's got an epic feel the way it's the way it introduces itself was really good. I think one problem to me, I feel like it's a little, I don't know, the chorus seems a little lackluster. What if the seas can't save you from the fires of this world? There's something about that's not very hook driven like the previous songs are, I don't know, like if they had a stronger chorus, I feel like it could be elevated more. And then if they didn't go on that whole tangent in the second half of the song, where they kind of just go off, it's still a fantastic song, and the keyboard parts are really good. I think I'm giving it an 8 as well. It's a great song, and it has a lot of good things about it. And I do like the whole like what did they say, like the the earth becomes, the place that was your cradle becomes your grave or whatever.
Right.
Something about that line was kind of cool. Can't remember what it was. Anyway, so it's somewhere there. Oh yeah. Mother cleans the slate and the cradle becomes your grave. Like that's kind of cool line. And good song, but definitely a bonus track. Doesn't really fit what they're going through with the rest of the album.
It felt unpolished to me. Like it felt like they had a lot of ideas and they just maybe didn't cut it down to really like refine it to make it as good as it could have been. Because I feel like it is going somewhere, and it's not bad. It's just like
Yeah.
there's just it's missing something.
It's incomplete.
Like I'm sure as like a professional songwriter would look at it and be like, oh yeah, the song is missing, like you said, a hook. It's missing the chorus. It's missing something that kind of keeps you drawn in, keeps you engaged, and keeps it pumping. You know. So.
Do you still want me to do the hidden track?
Sure. Let's just play it for them.
Yeah, so we're gonna just do the jam, and then Ian's just going to add up all the scores, and then we'll do the scores, and then our final thoughts, and then I'll just close out the album then. So yeah, here's the hidden track. Oh, faded out. Oh, yeah, man. What? Faded out. Are you here? No, I'm here first time. Oh, I thought I told you. No, never.
Tambourine there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to do this one. No, I'm just Whoops, I needed a 97 actually. I actually typed in the wrong number for me. Good thing you mentioned that because I was kind of like, wait, I thought this
Yeah, I was gonna say like based on those numbers, mine should be lower, but
Yeah, I was like, something seems fishy.
seems. How'd they know it was on Sunday?
Actually, Jack, I'm mad at you. What's mine gonna be about me now? I like whistling. Yeah, I reckon the sphere needed to do a little bit more of this. Elevate it a little bit more. Cool. Should I show the scores now?
Yeah, go ahead and do the scores, and then we'll have you guys
Final
do your
thoughts.
final thoughts. I'll do my final thoughts last, and then I can just close it out.
We'd let Brandon
So,
start, then I'll go, then Jake, then you, then
That's
you
fine.
close out. That works.
Yeah.
So
It works.
we added up the scores. Jake and Brandon both had the lowest score. They gave the album a 9.6. I had the second highest. I gave it a 9.7, and Kevin gave it the highest score of a 9.8. So the average of those, the final score we gave Reckoning Night is 9.67.
Pretty solid.
Pretty solid, yeah.
It's on to me now, huh? Isn't it?
Yep.
So
Yeah. What are your final thoughts?
I'm really glad we did this album with the lyrics and just like I'm pretty familiar with most of the album, but there are a few songs that I never really delved into, so it was really cool to kind of get the more full picture for the full album here. So that was really awesome. Just great band, great album, really amazing stuff, and just super awesome.
We'll see. Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. You want to do
Your
your thoughts?
journey in.
Hey, we're in the middle of a video. We'll be done in like 3 minutes or so.
It's like,
Whew, close call.
it's like, sorry, Jake's kid.
Sorry.
We're recording here.
Yeah.
No distractions.
Yeah.
Yeah. You go.
it's
Hang
You go.
tight for a minute.
Yeah, I think this is a phenomenal album. Yeah, it was fun to go through it with all the lyrics and stuff, and just to remember why we've loved this album for so long. I don't have much to add, but just the songwriting and the melodies and stuff are just insanely good, and yeah, it's just a masterpiece record. Yeah, what do you say, Jake?
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, there's a lot to love about it. If you haven't listened to it on your own, give it a go. Definitely shows like Sonata's really like went off and really created their own style and shows their talents and shows their abilities. Definitely, this gives it all. Like you can see their speed, you can see their prog level, you can see their songwriting. It's all beautiful. I would go ahead and say that it's almost like the Japanese release with the extended, the track probably brought down the score. So you can just imagine it probably was even higher than that. Just to show, how much we like it, how much it's been a part of us. So
Yeah, I'm glad we went through this album. And yeah, thanks everybody for watching and everything. Definitely buy the album, support the artist.
Buy the new one that's coming out.
buy extras.
Right, yeah, buy the new album.
Buy
too,
their
you know?
whole discography. You won't be disappointed.
They have some cool merch. They could just go buy it all.
Yeah, I do think that they've created something very special, and I'm glad we were able to go through it and just remember just how awesome this album is, and I didn't have necessarily like new thoughts or new experiences. Like I've gone through this album,
so many
thousands of
dang
times
times,
or
yeah.
whatever, but I mean it came out 20 years ago, you know what I mean? And it's just, I've, stuck with it, growing up with it and everything. And so it's just always been a part of my life.
Majority of your life, yeah.
Yeah. And so, I'm glad we were able to go through this album together. And not much more to add except for, Sonata did a good job.
Yeah, definitely
A+,
glad you
A+
guys
everyone.
introduced it to me. Like,
Right.
I would never
Yeah.
have found this on my own.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyways, everybody, thank you for watching. We're Forgotten Legends of Sound, and we'll see you next time.
Signing out.